Grace is a local grower who instigated a cowl project with the school children from Glantoman School in the Dyfi Valley and another local grower called Kate, and they collaborated with Edward Jones, who is a farmer who's been farming in Cymysg his entire life. They cultivated land on Edward's farm along with the school children, and they planted up Swedes and flowers for cut flowers. So they were able to use the Swedes in the cowl project and cook them along with ingredients that the children had grown at the school, and the children were able to eat the cowl and share it with people in the local community. And then alongside the Swedes there was a cut flower crop which Grace was able to harvest and sell in her flower shop on Machynlleth High Street. So I think this trial shows how it's really exciting to have this intergenerational collaboration between the school children at Glantoman School, Grace and local grower Kate Fennells, and the older farmer in Edward Jones, and them kind of sharing knowledge together and being able to grow these crops together and have the children be able to eat them and share them with the local community is really amazing.
I'm Grace and I work for Dyfi, which is a social enterprise based in Machynlleth, and we try and find routes to market for land-based products and services within the Dyfi Valley. And this year we've been working with Dyfi to grow field-scale crops. So last year we did a field-scale trial crop of swede, and we mixed it with 2 rows of flowers. We did helichrysum along one side of the field, limonium down the other side, and then a crop of swede in the centre. And what we found was that the flowers were absolutely covered in hoverflies and bees, one on every stem in the summer. And the swede grew very well. Could have done it better, it got a bit weedy, and I've got a plan for this year for that, but we got a crop, a decent crop, yeah. And the children did a lot of it, of the food side. They came and we did the ploughing with them and we did the sowing with them, and we showed them how to roll the seed, and the children from Glantoman School did that. The flowers and the swede worked quite well together because I believe that the hoverflies and other insects that were coming to the field were predating on the pests of the brassica family, of which a swede is one. So it was incredible. I mean, I'm not exaggerating on that. The sheer number of hoverflies, I've never seen anything like it on these helichrysum, a huge nectar source, pollen source for them. And I think it probably did annihilate most of the predators that were about on those plants. So we didn't really get many things like cabbage white, stuff like that. It was a fairly low number of things like aphids. So I think it had a beneficial effect, I believe. We ploughed the field with the gentleman who owns it, Edward Jones, and his brother Richard, and they came with their vintage tractor and ploughed the ground with another gentleman, and it was the children watched that and saw the ploughing and the harrowing, and then we sowed the seed in that section. And Edward's been very supportive, and his wife Anne, throughout the project, with allowing us to grow on his field and helping us with various tasks that we were unable to do without the right machinery. So that's been excellent, having that input. We've carried on with the school. We were already working at the school before we started this project, and we're continuing to do so now. We've done that work through the business, and we go in every week and we do sowing and wildlife-based activities, anything to do with the land. We're expanding our work in Pennell School now into things like woolcraft, and we're going to take the spinning wheel in and show them the children how to spin wool, etc. We've got a workshop on today in wool crafts. So just trying to make it more holistic for the kids as well as just the growing side. We have a member of staff called Kate Fennells who works with Dyfi Social Enterprise, who does a lot of the growing and the cooking with the children in Glantoman School. We work with a lot of people within the community to get that cow out. We use the forestry hub in Machynlleth to cook, we rent that from them. We serve the cow here in the shop as well. So different members of staff have been involved in that process. We were going to grow at Edward and Anne's field in Cymysg anyway to grow our flowers, because we're trying to internalise all of the growing within the company. But when the Tubby funding came up, we were really very inspired to try and do an edible with it, which we may not have been able to afford to do without having that injection of help from Tubby. And it also inspired us to grow more food, which we've always wanted to do, but haven't quite figured out the right way to do it. So it sort of, it inspired us to consider combining the crops and bringing the school in. We were working at the school already, but we decided that field scale, we may as well just put it all together in a holistic way, which is how we believe land should be managed, and it worked. And so we were able to do a viable crop for selling in the shop, as well as a viable crop for food and for the cow, which we sold by donation. The successes of the field scale crop, I would say, were primarily the wildlife, actually. The fact that there were so many hoverflies on them. I think it was incredible, the amount of nectar and pollen that was available to the insects within that area. But that aside, which was an indirect benefit which we hadn't really expected, the cow project itself has become a bigger thing than we were expecting. So people come here and ask for it quite often on days when we're not serving, because it was an event. We've stopped that now. We're going to get our food hygiene in place because so many people are asking for it, and quite often they'll give extra to what they've paid for the cow in order to help us to fund the work that we're continuing to do at the schools and the care home as well. So we're going in there again this year to do the sowing of the pumpkins with the residents of the care home. So yes, there's been lots of benefits, and a very direct financial benefit has been that we've been able to create lots of dried helichrysum heads which go into our wreaths at Christmas and right through the year, and wedding wreaths, and so we've still got quite a lot of stock from that, and it's almost run out, and then now we're starting to grow it again for the following year. But we know that we've got a viable crop there, which is economically viable crop of flowers. So all round has been a success. I think it's important to try and investigate what our valleys can produce within a certain radius, because if we've got to grow more local food and produce more local material from the land, we need to be able to diversify to a degree. And I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't have sheep and that we shouldn't do what we're doing already, but that those products are valued correctly and that they're part of an integrated system of land management where we can reduce the necessity to import, and we can grow more food, but also materials that aren't non-edible materials that complement that, and that we should be looking at it together as an integrated system. And then we can see, okay, that should be probably grown in this valley. We can support it. Our soil can support it. We would then save this much carbon if we weren't importing it. We could reduce our carbon footprint. So I think it's brilliant, and it inspires people. This project has inspired a number of people that I know to grow something new, and I think if we can then take those inspired ideas and look at the whole landscape and then map it and think, okay, that and that could work together to be a complementary land use system in this valley, and that's the way to go with it. Not going to say rather than being completely random ideas, because they're not random as such, but if they were brought together and so was doing this and that person was doing that, but that they were integrated in some way, that I think probably is the next step.
So all we're doing now is waiting for the vegetables to get soft and they're ready to go. So we've got 3 more ingredients to add. Can I get you to stand back a little bit just so it doesn't splash? Why don't you sit in your places for now? There we go. That is. So, can you see, when I put that lid on, can you see the steam coming out now? So that means that heat is spreading out around the room. If I put the lid on, let's have a look at what happens to the glass.
brofiad bril i'r plant, dwi wedi bod yna ers nhw ddechrau tyfu yr cynhwysion, a mae'n grêt gweld nhw'n mwynhau bod allan yn yr ardd, a wedyn cael pigo fyny be maen nhw wedi tyfu. Yn y dosbarth wan, oedd o'n grêt gweld nhw yn sgrwbio ac yn glynnhau y llysiau, ac profiad hefyd i rai ohonyn nhw, dal mewn cyllell am y tro cyntaf, dal mewn piliwr, a jyst gallu creu bwyd i hunain, dwi'n meddwl. Maen nhw, pob un ohonyn nhw wedi mwynhau. Sy'n grêt neu rhywbeth fel hyn eto hefyd, efo nhw, dwi'n meddwl.
And the last thing we're putting in is kale. Well, they're all right though, aren't they? They're a bit nutty. Eat it. Eat it. Taste it. Go on, share them with your friends. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Well done for trying.
Dwi'n meddwl bod yna llawer iawn o'r plant yma. Mae bwyd falle sy'n cael ei baratoi adre. Dwi'n yn gwybod os mae o'n bwyd sydd yn dod wedi cael ei pre-packaged math o beth. Dydyn nhw ddim yn gweld lle mae'r llysiau mae'n cael ei tyfu go iawn. Felly, i weld o'n digwydd o flaen nhw fel yna, nhw'n cael dealltwriaeth, yn wedig mewn ardal fel dyn ni'n byw yn amaethyddol, mae mor bwysig bod nhw'n gweld sut mae cynnyrch yn cael ei dyfu, really.
What's broccoli in Cymraeg? Broccoli, because it's an Italian word, of course. Do you know there's actually a man called Mr. Broccoli? And he invented broccoli, so they named
Last year we grew with the kids potatoes, leeks and Swedes, and that we've been using them to cook with today. So I don't know if they remember that bit, but there is a connection there. And this project for us is about getting them connected to the food system and getting them to do it hands-on with vegetables that they're chopping, they're tasting, they're smelling. I think it just gets them that bit more excited. I mean, they're wandering over here and smelling this, which just basically smells of boiled vegetables, and going, it smells incredible! So yeah, there's obviously some form of excitement there.